What if your first glimpse into a new Minecraft world wasn't the landscape you were expecting, but instead it was an endless ocean? No trees, no shelter, no food, no friends. Just the sound of your own thoughts with water stretching endlessly in every direction. Join me as I face the unknown, test my will, and try to turn isolation into a place that I can call home. Welcome to Stranded. Have you ever had one of those moments where you realize you might have made a huge mistake? Yep, this was mine. That's a lot of ocean. All right, step 1, don't drown. Step 2, well, pretty much everything else. I mean, there's so much to do. I need somewhere to plant my feet, and we're going to have a whole bunch of resources to figure out. So I guess we'll start by trying to collect some dirt so that we can build ourselves a little platform above the water. Oh my goodness, this is definitely going to be an exercise in patience. Goodness, what am I averaging? About 1 block per breath so far? Oh yeah, there's no way I can do 2. Oh, good heavens. All right, well, 1 at a time it shall be then. This was the moment I realized survival was not going to be glamorous. It was going to be slow and soggy and somehow involve a lot of dirt. Oh my goodness, it takes so long to punch the dirt and to wait for it to float up to the surface, and I'm starting to get a little bit nervous about the food situation. I mean, for that matter, we've got a lot of things that we're going to have to figure out. Not just food, but resources. If we're going to be able to sleep, are we ever going to be able to get to the dragon? Does that even exist in this world? I don't even know. But first things first, right now, it's just about survival and trying to build ourselves a beautiful life here. Okay, I know our dirt collection has been very slow and 13 is nothing to write home about. But I'm getting a little bit nervous about how much daylight we have left, so I figured maybe it's not a bad idea to just kind of nose around and see if we can find ourselves a shipwreck or anything that'll get us some resources a little bit faster. Oh, lovely. The sun has already set. And here I was worried that everything was just going far too easy. Not gonna lie, panic was starting to set in a little bit. The sun was gone, the ocean is dark, and I still didn't have a place to stand. My plan now, and I use that term loosely, is to find the tallest underwater hill I could find so that we could build a little bit of a platform off of that. I'm so afraid we're going to get some drowned or something sneak up on us. I'm just trying to find the highest point possible because we don't have very many blocks, and I guess this is probably about as good. Oh, what is that? It's either a ruined portal or an underwater ruin. I don't know. And frankly, I don't care. It's something to stand on out of the water. I know there's drowned around here. The key is to not panic. Well, it may not be 5-star accommodations, but for the first time today, my feet finally aren't wet. Progress. It was at this moment that I realized I had celebrated just a little bit too early. Sure, my feet are dry, and at this point I feel like I've beaten the game. But exactly how did I think I was going to get off this thing, surrounded by drowned and not a single tool to fight them off with? Clearly I didn't think this through very well. Wouldn't be the first time, and it definitely won't be the last. I slap you in your face. Hey, it worked on the fish, and it's the best plan I have. In fact, right now, it's the only plan I have. Oh! That guy's taking care of himself. I think he pooped. Perhaps there is a plan in the middle of all of that. If I can figure out how to lure them over to the magma blocks. I actually have no idea how I think I would lure them over there without potentially unaliving myself. And you, I bet I can't even reach you, can I? Now, how come I can reach the kelp, but He's a little ballerina. Ugh, alright. I can't reach you to hit you. I can't place blocks to trap you in. Nope. Whoops. Let me just try and drop some sand and see if we can suffocate you. And... oh, please don't come up here. It's working! Oh my gosh! It actually worked. I may not have a sword, but I do have a very particular set of skills, mostly involving sand and a bit of gravity. Ooh, I think we could actually get to that chest. I think we can do it. Oh, we're gonna try. Oh my goodness, that is amazing. A fishing rod for food and an axe for protection. I am unstoppable, or at least less pathetic. All of a sudden, it felt like the tides had turned in my favor. The drowned no longer posed a threat, and it was as if they were lining up to give me a little bit of XP and some crappy loot drops. Yes, I know, you're right. I should be careful about celebrating early, but... aw, come on, I gotta at least celebrate some of the little wins along the way, don't I? It's not every day that you get the distinction of feeling like an action hero in soggy clothes, but hey, I'm making it work. One by one, I took them out. These brave, greenish, and probably very wrinkled guardians of a chest that, in any other world, it would be disappointing treasure, but in our case, it is very necessary and appreciated. Oh my gosh, I see a wood plank. Forget about diamonds right now. These wooden planks are literally the most valuable thing that we could find in this entire ocean. Oh my gosh, we're running out of air. Oh, hurry. Oh my gosh. It is. Oh, I know you saw it. All right, one thing at a time. Finally a shipwreck. First, we need to grab all of this stuff. As anxious as I am to get over there, I also don't want to press our luck. I decided our best bet is to wait until morning to head out. Knowing that shipwreck is right out there gives me an immense amount of comfort, so I can finally relax, cast my line, and breathe. Don't get me wrong, I know we've got a ton of more obstacles to overcome, but for now, we are just going to enjoy the moment. It is finally morning, and it is safe to go over to the shipwreck that we have been so patiently waiting for. There's a lot to be excited about with this shipwreck. Obviously the wood, that's the main prize. But there's also the chance for a real treasure. Some iron would be amazing. Carrots or potatoes, even better. We could finally start growing actual crops and have a stable food supply. But you know what I'm secretly most excited about? A door. Yeah, a plain old door. Because in a world full of nothing but water for miles, a door is a lifeline, a breathing room under the water so that we can actually gather supplies. That alone would make a world of difference for us being able to gather dirt and stone and eventually being able to make a mining area underground. Not to mention the fact that it's just way faster when you're standing in a pocket of air. You don't have that slowdown that they penalize you with when you're in water. Whoa! It may not look like treasure to some, but when you have nothing, even the smallest things start to feel like hope. So to me, this meant everything. And of course, the real treasure. All right, now we get to see our door in action. We can finally have some breathing room, literally. That's funny. All right, let's see what we've got in this chest. If we can reach it. Nope. All right, we'll just go in. Oh, yes. That's crazy. Iron before stone. I love it. Now, I've got a little bit of an idea that I think is not one of my better ideas, but we're going to go with it anyway. I think we're going to go ahead and use that underwater ruin that's above water as a little bit of a temporary base. I definitely don't want to stay there. I don't know if the drowned will routinely come back there or not. I don't really want to take a chance. But for now, I think we're going to use it just to store some of our goods because our inventory is finally getting a little bit full. And I'd like to go look for the treasure from the buried treasure map that we have. Oh, actually, I don't remember if we, let's double check this one. I don't remember if we got this chest yet or not. Oh, and speaking of buried treasure maps, I'm assuming duplicate, but you know, you can never be too sure about these things. And we'll grab the chest as well. Oh, and we can finally craft our first tools. I think it's actually going to be wooden ones. I don't know if I'm ready to commit to the iron yet, so let's do a wooden pickaxe so that we can go get some stone and make some stone tools. Alright, we'll make a little trapdoor staircase just in case those drowned are still lurking around here. I'm pretty sure they can't get up those. And just like that, the daylight starts to slip away once again. So we will go ahead and make the most of the evening time and do a little bit more fishing and cast our line and see if we can snag something useful or at least edible. I am definitely happy about having a little bit of extra food on hand. I have a feeling that's going to be a little bit of a challenge out here for a while. So we will go ahead and wind down the evening, and then once daylight returns, we can head out on our very first official adventure in search for some buried treasure. And after that, no more excuses. We need to work on building a home. Well, after fishing a good portion of the evening, I am getting a little bit antsy, and I'm actually super excited to go out on a little mini adventure. I think that's what we're going to do. We're just going to get a little bit of an early start. It looks like we've got one duplicate treasure map, so we've got actually 2 treasures in total that we can go look for. So I splurged and went ahead and made an iron pickaxe just in case. I don't know why we would need it for this, but I think I just kind of wanted to make one. At this point, I was even just flying high knowing that we were going to be out sailing in our boat. As silly as that sounds, it's like we are finally kind of taking charge of things and we're heading out with purpose, not just kind of floating around trying to figure out what to do. And it was a rather empowering feeling. All right, I felt like I lined up pretty darn well with our red X, so it is time to go down and look for our treasure. Everything felt like it was going exactly according to plan. I was full of confidence that we were about to uncover something incredible. But if I'm being honest, there was also a really good chance that we were going to leave the place looking like a shipwreck by the time we were done. I probably should have made a shovel, but at this point I'm too stingy and, well, my hand's working just fine, thank you very much. The door definitely wins the MVP award for the day. It's gotta be here somewhere. We were very well lined up now. Come on. Okay, we got it. All right, let's move our door just a little bit closer to make it comfortable for us. Right here looks pretty good. Secretly, I was hoping for some diamonds, but oh man, that iron is gonna come in clutch for sure. You know what? Probably be easier just to break the whole chest and grab it all that way. Perfect. Alright, we got one more treasure to track down. We'll see if we can't line her up just a little bit better this time. You know we have to check out that shipwreck, right? We shall return! Alright, once again we shall expertly navigate our... I think I saw another shipwreck out there. Our fancy ship above the X marks the spot, and thank goodness for the door, because honestly, I don't think we would be able to get the treasures otherwise. Alright, hopefully this one is a little... Could it possibly be underneath the... Yes, it could! I was kind of joking, but yeah, I'll take it. Yes, we've got diamonds! We have diamonds before stone tools. That is so funny. I guess I actually need to get some stone here pretty soon. Alright, let's do the same technique. That is brilliant. We are definitely starting to lose our daylight. So once again, the night is going to conquer us. But that's okay, we're going to drop all this stuff off and then we're going to go find some place to park. I want a home. All right, be honest. When you were younger, did you ever used to sneak out of the house late at night? I actually didn't. I was a pretty good kid. But I'm making up for lost time now because I'm sneaking out of the quote-unquote house to go check out that shipwreck we saw earlier. I'm feeling a little bit emboldened these days. You know, we've got our fancy axe and a little bit of armor. And frankly, the only thing we have to worry about is drowned. I didn't really think about it, but there's not really skeletons or creepers or anything like that lurking out in the ocean. So why not live on the wild side a little bit? All right, let's see what we can get from this. Oh, it was definitely worth it. Absolutely. I don't really care much for the armor trim, but we will take everything else. All right, another treasure map. I'm not sure if we've been to this one or not, but we can take a look. I don't think so. All right, we've got one more. Ooh, bamboo. Actually, that could come in super handy. All right, this was well worth the extra trip. I'm trying to remember, are there ever tree saplings? I don't think there are. Like legit trees? That would be nice, though. The best we can hope for is from that moss block. We might be able to get some azalea trees at some point. And while I would appreciate any saplings, oh, I really want to try and figure out how to find some mangrove. And I didn't even think about phantoms. Oh my gosh, we are going to be in trouble. We are going to be in trouble because we have no place to go and no way to sleep. Oh, this is super awkward trying to do this from a boat. Oh, come on. Come on, daylight, do your thing. Oh, you did! Sweet. Well, I guess let this serve as a lesson to us. We have got to get a shelter built so that we can have some safety from those phantoms. Oh my gosh, they are going to be a huge problem, though, because we don't have any way to sleep. So we're gonna have to finally decide on a spot to call home, preferably someplace where we will be able to figure out how to get underground for some mining without any big, deep trenches like what's coming up here. What a strange looking underground area. It almost reminds me of New York City and skyscrapers. Ooh, hey now, there's some good iron down there. Ooh, and I see diamonds. All right, you know what? We're going to grab our door and we are going to go down there and we are going to do a little bit of resource gathering in the underwater version of New York City. Ooh, that's a long way down. Almost didn't make it. Whew. I love my door so much. Don't judge me. Oh no! Come back! Don't leave me! There we go. Oh, you scared me. Yes, I think I'm starting to slightly lose my mind a little bit. Oh, I hope I can figure out a way to get a little animal friend, like, I don't care, a chicken or a llama or something. Hopefully I can figure it out. And oh my Lanta, it's another shipwreck. I mean, at some point, you have to ask the obvious question. Why are there so many sunken pirate ships? Like, how bad were these guys at steering? It's the ocean. There's no trees, no mountains, no traffic. Just water. And yet they still managed to crash. Repeatedly. All right, what do we have? Some books and a clock. I guess I can read about how much time I've been wasting. All right, a decision has been made. The sunken ship, you know, that last one that we stumbled across, is officially home now. Well, wait, not the ship itself. I mean, that's underwater. That would be weird. But the spot is officially our home now. So my thinking is the ocean floor here is mostly flat, which should help us once we are ready to start tunneling underground. So I think for now, with the dirt that we have on hand, let's go ahead and set up a little area that we can prepare to do some farming with the couple of potatoes that we have. And then I think once that is completed, we should probably head over to our temporary base and pick up the supplies that we had stored over there so that we can have them all in one central location. If I didn't know better, I would almost say we are coming up with a plan. With all our precious belongings packed up, I made a dramatic departure from our temporary base. and immediately realized that I was heading in the wrong direction. Classic. Nothing like a bold exit followed by a 3-point turn in the middle of the ocean. Maybe all those sunken pirate ships are starting to make a little bit more sense now. Alrighty, now that we actually have a plan in place, it's time to start gathering some supplies. Nothing too fancy, just enough spruce logs to make it feel like home. Because everyone likes spruce, right? Come on, tell me I'm wrong. I'm so not wrong. And finally, the first bits of foundation are laid down for our future home. Even if that future home is held together with fence posts and wishful thinking. Everything seemed to actually be going really well until suddenly I realized that I lost focus and I had a beam that was set up one level too high. It was as if I sensed something wasn't quite right. And then I heard that rush of wind above me. It's the sound that you feel before you hear it. And by then, it's too late. But now, I've had enough. Nothing is going to stop me from building this home. All right, I'm not going to lie. There were actually more phantoms than I was prepared for. But I wasn't going to let that stop me. My plan was to focus on one at a time, carefully and methodically picking off one after another. I gave it everything I had. Until finally, there was just one. And then, just like that, it was over. For now, anyway. Well, now that we have managed to take care of our little pest problem, we can get back to building our little sanctuary. Now, I'm not going to be able to get it all finished in one go here because we need to get some more supplies, particularly for the roof. But in the meantime, I think we will go ahead and add a cute little fishing dock to the front because, well, I mean, we are in the middle of the ocean after all. You know, honestly, I don't know what's going to become of this build. We might completely modify it, we might add on to it, we might build around it, I'm not sure. I figure we'll just kind of figure it out as we go along. For now, it will at least keep us relatively safe. I hope. Now, as you can see, we have got plenty of space underneath our platform here. I'm sure we're going to redo our posts at some point. I don't think I really like that. But what I was thinking is we could actually build off this little walkway here and have this go down to our mining area. I think I'm actually going to go ahead and open this up for now. Good heavens, the struggle. I better get used to working with a boat. All right, and then very quickly, I'm just going to go ahead and give us a little bit of a lowered platform here that will eventually lead to our stair area. It'll make sense in a minute. Well, at least I hope it makes sense. I mean, I'm kind of just winging this, but in my mind, this is going to work. And I'm kind of thinking we could leave this open underneath here so that we can just like boat into this area. Kind of like a little, I don't know, parking waterway garage thing. So with that, I got to work in outlining our staircase area. I decided to use the beloved dark oak because I felt like it kind of looked like it was waterlogged underneath there. And then it was just the task of draining out all the water, but it wasn't too bad, and I think it turned out pretty cute. Now, I don't want to get too carried away with the idea of mining and caving quite yet, but I wouldn't mind digging down so that we could get some more dirt, because now that I take another look at our garden, it just really doesn't belong here. Obviously, we have plenty of room to work with, but we are definitely going to have to gather quite a bit more dirt. And speaking of dirt, I actually want that for the moss blocks as well, so we can get some green to spread around this place. And I think that would make it look really, really cozy. For all the times I've gone mining and dirt seems like such an inconvenience, now it feels like I'm digging up diamonds. And you know what? I think as we start to do more and more mining, I'm going to go ahead and gather up all this copper because I think it just might come in handy. Now, I don't pretend to know the best way to go about laying things out yet, but sometimes I just simply have to start placing blocks down and then figure it out as we go along. There's kind of a little life lesson in there too, I think, is, you may not always know what your destination is, but sometimes you just have to start taking the steps. Because if you're not walking in a direction, then you are simply going nowhere. Well, I've been so excited about the prospect of getting some of these moss blocks, and then I've realized we have one little bitty problem. We need bone meal. We don't have any. So we're going to have to make a composter and make some bone meal. And as luck would have it, as I was making up the composter, the rain finally went away, and we've got sunny skies once again, so hopefully that is a sign of good things to come. So with razor-sharp precision, I proceeded to mow down that kelp. And it was actually rather satisfying. Except that meant there was a bunch of mess to clean up at the surface. We are definitely going to need to splurge for a hopper at some point. And now for the most satisfying moment of them all. Now that is a beautiful sight. As I continued to work on the moss blocks, there it finally was. A sight I had been waiting a very long time to see. An azalea sapling and our first tree. Soon to be followed by our second tree. Now I realize to some, our little base may not look like much, but to me, it looks like a very promising future. There's still so much to do and so much to figure out, but for now, it feels like we're taking steps, even if we don't know exactly where we're going. And this is just the beginning.